Okay, why don't we just go further?
It has sometimes been claimed that the belief that such things can answer one's pleas for assistance flies in the face of the Buddhist theory of karma. Expecting the God to provide a cure for an illness must be inconsistent with the belief that falling ill is the inevitable result of one's own previous unwholesome actions. But this is to misunderstand the Buddhist theory of action and result, which is not a species of determinism. From the Buddhist perspective, certain experiences in life are indeed the results of previous actions, but our responses to those experiences, whether wished for or unwished for, are not predetermined, but represent new actions which in time bear their own fruit in the future. The Buddhist understanding of individual responsibility does not mean that we should never seek or expect another's assistance in order to better cope with the troubles of life. The belief that one's broken leg is at one level to be explained as the result of unwholesome actions performed in a previous life does not mean that one should not go to a doctor to have the broken leg set. There was and is no need in Buddhist theory to deny the existence of divine beings or to repudiate the Buddhist villagers' efforts to get their help. The only comment that Buddhist theory has to make in this context is that divine beings, like doctors, won't be able to get to the root of the problem. They may help one get what one wants in the short term, but they're unable to bring about the final cessation of suffering.
Okay, good. Anything? No, I think that's plain and simple. Anyone want to read next one? Yeah, on the left side.
The world of the earliest Buddhist texts in a world like the contemporary.
No, in a word is a word. Yeah.
Sorry.
Not in the word.
Is a world.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is a world like the contemporary Indian villagers, alive with various kinds of being. The Buddha and his followers are represented as being visited by these various beings, as having discussions with them, as teaching them, as being questioned by them, and as being honored by them. Yet in their reading of the text, many 19th and early 20th century scholars felt inclined to treat such accounts of supernatural beings as later mythical additions to an earlier, more sober and purely philosophical stratum of Buddhist literature that was originally uncluttered by such material. Indeed, this outlook continues to influence the approach of some scholars. Yet the fact remains that these so-called mythical elements are so embedded in, so entangled with conceptual, ethical, and philosophical dimensions of early Buddhist literature that the task of extricating them is extremely problematic. The arguments for excising the mythic material often become circular. We know that the mythic passages are later because early Buddhist teachings was a purely ethical and philosophical system uninterested in myth, and we know that early Buddhist teaching was devoid of myth because of the mythic passages are later.
Okay. Any next one? Do you want to start from here again? Yeah.
What can be said with certainty is that we have no evidence, either in the ancient texts or in the different contemporary traditions, for a pure Buddhist that does not recognize, accommodate, and interact with various classes of supernatural being. Such a pure Buddhism is something of a theoretical and scholarly abstraction. This point needs particular stress in relation to Theravada Buddhism, since the notion that Theravada tradition represents, or ought to represent, a pure and unadulterated tradition of precisely this kind is widespread and yet is a largely theoretically constructed model of what Theravada Buddhism is.
All right, see what he suggests.
I suggest about that the Buddhist dealing with the interaction with ghosts, demons, and spirits is for the most part tangential to his or her practice of the Buddhist path. This is certainly so, and yet the separateness of these dimensions of Buddhist life can be overemphasized. In the earliest texts, the world of the Yakas, Nagas,
Gandharvas,
and so on, merge with the world of the sense-sphere devas. Such being precisely a ethical and spiritual association in the theory and practice of the ancient Buddhism, and such associations are not irrelevant to our appreciation of the role of the gods in the practice of the contemporary Buddhism. A traditional Buddhist contemplative meditation exercise involves the recollection of the quality of the gods, Deva Nu Sati, as being who have arrived at a fortunate and happy condition as a result of their good karma. They are the god of the 4 kings, the gods of the 33, the Yama gods, the contented god, the gods who delight in creation, the masters of the creation of others, the gods of Brahma, and yet higher gods. Endowed with faith, these gods pass away from the human realm and were reborn in that condition. Such faith is present in me too. Endowed with virtue, learning, generosity, and wisdom, those gods pass away from the human realm and were reborn in that condition. Such virtue, learning, generosity, and wisdom are present in me too.
Okay, next one. Yeah.
The kind of thinking indicated by this passage suggests how the world of ghosts, demons, spirits, and gods merges and blends with the world of Buddhist practice. But perhaps the most graphic illustration of this comes from Buddhist art. Early stone reliefs depicting the Buddha's enlightenment show the gods of various kinds gathering around the tree of awakening. The great stupa at Sansi, 2nd century BC, a representation of the cosmos itself, is encircled by a walkway entered by 4 gateways. Here the decoration depicts animals, yaksas and
Yasinis,
nagas and gandhavas, and the gods. At the center is the great dome of the stupa enshrining sacred relics. The interior of Buddhist shrine rooms through the ages has similarly often been decorated with murals depicting the various realms and beings of the cosmos.
You want to finish one more paragraph?
Sure.
Yeah.
In conclusion, it is worth considering briefly Buddhist and Indian cosmology in relation to the cosmology of the West. Clearly, the Buddhist conception of the spatial and temporal extent of the universe contrasts markedly with the traditional Judeo-Christian conception of a single world beginning with its creation at a particular point, a point that has on occasion been defined very precisely. Archbishop Usher calculated it as 4004 BCE. Whereas from the Buddhist perspective, there are countless world systems passing through vast cycles of expansion and contraction. In the Judeo-Christian perspective, there is only one world whose history begins at one point and moves toward one final doomsday, and is to be read, moreover, as the working out of God's purpose. There is a point of real contrast here, that it is not of purely theoretical interest. These 2 traditional cosmologies give rise to quite different cultural perspectives on matters of social and political progress. This is a complex subject, and I merely draw the reader's attention to it.
All right, thank you. Why don't we take a break, 10 minutes, and then we're back here, and we can have a discussion and finish the last paragraph. So I will read the table and just explain something about the table. Right, thank you. I'll see you in 10 minutes. And then we can have... I would like to hear your comment also, and then we can look at the table too. So the last paragraph, who want to read that? Yeah.
I will read
okay.
It. A number of writers over the last 20 years have suggested that there is a certain affinity between aspects of traditional Indian cosmology and the findings of modern astronomy and physics. Some caution is needed here. Quite clearly, the conception of the
Chakra Vada,
taken as a literal description of the geography of the world, which it clearly was and is by many, is as inaccurate from a scientific perspective as anything found in the biblical Judeo-Christian cosmologies. Curiously though, The traditional conception of the Chakrabada persisted in Indian thought even after the realization, early in the Christian era, that the world was in reality a globe. The fact that these two quite different conceptions of the world continue to live side by side suggests that in part their functions are somewhat different. Nevertheless, the notion of Mount Meru can fare no better in the eyes of modern science than that of the Garden of Eden. Yet, Buddhist cosmology's understanding of the age and size of the universe, its countless world system, the absence of a creator God, do perhaps sit more comfortably with certain of the notions of modern astronomy and physics than a Judeo-Christian cosmology. Yet it would be naive to suggest that they somehow anticipate such modern scientific theories. The language of Buddhist cosmology is not the language of the modern physics. If we wish to understand it, the Buddhist tradition itself suggests that we should look no further than our own mind. For in many respects, the workings of the vast cosmos are nothing other than the workings of our minds writ large.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I think before we go to the, if you have any comment discussion, why don't we look at the table first? In order to save some time. Back to the table, I need to explain. I don't know whether you can read what the tables mean. 那个图 the table 2 on page 115. If it's with the book, I don't know. So on the other. Everyone find the table yet? Everyone find it? Get it? So in the table, you look at the first look at the left side, and it divides into three kind of words. Okay, the word of the five senses, the word of the pure form, the formless word. Right? You get it now, right? And then when you look at also just beside that, you will say the destruction by fire, destruction by water, destruction by wind. We're going to explain that later. Just look at that. And then under this the same level, and then you have this the word of the five senses, that you have the happy destiny, sukati, and you have the descents, abhaya. Okay, like the abhaya refer to the jealous god, hungry ghosts, animal, hell beings, and then the happy destiny is there are six of the, you could say the six heavens or six realms there. Okay, is it? Actually 7, including human. Okay. Sometimes even in Buddhism, so believe that being born as a human is like a divine being. Okay, just a very lowest level, the lowest level. Okay, and then you have this again. When you look at the other, you could see the years. Okay, that's actually is all come from the Buddhist cosmological view. Sometimes they depict the years, how long they live. And it's like a human being is a variable, because it's believed that human being can live only 10 years up to live to 84,000 years. Okay, so a different period of time, our lifetime is expanding and then decreasing and expanding and decreasing. So I always believe that, because since the Buddhism talk about there were 7 Buddha in the past in this earth. So if you're taking that as one of the Buddha arises because of one civilization comes, then at least we have seven civilizations in the past in this earth here. Okay. Because it said the 7 Buddha has passed in earth. We are not talking on the galaxy, but we are talking on earth. And on earth, the 7 Buddha, this Buddha, what we know is the 8th Buddha, right? And we still have to go until maybe 21 Buddha, I guess, if there's some kind of like a prediction. So that's what Buddha did say in certain part that maybe altogether 21, if I was not wrong. I forgot the exact number, so something like that. So that's why if you want to, in Buddhism believe that if say that the earth is going to destruct completely, I think from a Buddhist cosmology view, definitely we don't believe that. Yeah, of course we are getting worse and worse. I mean, in terms of not the material side, but in terms of the earth resource. Yeah, something like that. Okay. But then, humans do have ability to find some other thing, to invent something. And those, when you see it, 500 divine year, 2,000 divine year, that's the divine year. There were two ways of calculation. Usually it's believed that 1 year, one divine year, how to say, 1 day is 60 years of the divine, I think.
1 day is 60 years?
60.
divine years?
No, yeah.
Divine day is 60 years.
The other way
human year.
around.
Yes, 1 day of the divine place is 60 years. So let's say they have 300 days for 1 year, you have to multiply 60. That's for their 1 year.
18,000.
Yeah. So, because why this comes along is because it's happened that very rare case that someone actually he passed away. And then, but somehow he could come back again. And when he passed away, when the divine being passed away, and he suddenly disappeared, and he was born on earth. And then he spent 60 years and go back. And the people say, where did you go? I couldn't find you for a whole day. He will say, I was born on earth. So he spent 60 years on earth. But when he go back to that, I think it's that is in the heaven of the God, the 33. I think it's either the 33 or God of, I think it's the God of the four kings. I cannot remember which one now. So, and he say, really? So I have my whole life passed born and then I come back. Yes, you just disappear 1 day. Where do you go?
So the story reported in the commentary?
Yeah. And a lot of, no, actually there are some other, you could look at the Sutta also, that Sutta Nibbana. Those are the divine years that, and they are special case, but otherwise generally they live very long life. So that's why they say 500 divine year, 2,000 divine year, and so forth. So the highest rank they are, the longer they live. Okay, and the very right side, it's the about why they can be born there is because, in Buddhist theory generally because they are having the wholesome karma. Okay. And then motivated by non-attachment, friendliness, and wisdom. These three things. The friendliness means the loving kindness, the love or something like that. Okay. And the other, you look at. I'm not going to read those aeons, how long they live, lifespan. So, like the highest one, look, imagine they live in 84,000 eons. Wow, that is billion. It is believed that they die, the earth has complete destruct. And appear another place have a similar earth life, destruct, so they only die once. So now you know why you want to do meditation now, at least for that kind of reason. If you want to born in the place called the never consciousness nor consciousness. Now on the other side you see the karma and psychology. Under the karma, look at the below one mean. If you do the wholesome thing, you could be born there already. But if you want to born in the place called the world of pure form, then you must have the first jhana, the second jhana, and third jhana, and so forth like that. Okay. However, only one place is you don't born just only because you have jhana. That is a pure abode. Okay. The pure abode is only for people who have become really advanced Zen. Even though they are not fully 100% become complete Zen, but they are advanced Zen, because the Zen in Buddhism always have 4 levels. So you must be born there, not only because you have the jhana power, but you also must have you are the Zen already. And then you must be reached to the 3rd level of Zenhood. But you cannot become the last level of Zenhood. As an Arahant, that's why you're born in that place. Some people like it, some people don't like it. To be born there, yes.
So, like, to read this table, does pure abode include the supreme, the clear-sighted, the lovely, the serene, the durable, and consciousness? All of those? So, like, then, like, to the right of it, the big, like, line that just like says 4th jhana?
Yeah.
Does that mean that, like, if you...
No, actually, the pure abode is the only from durable, unconscious beings and great reward is not. Okay? Only 2, 3, 5.
The top 5.
Yeah, the top 5. From durable, serene, lovely. Unconscious being is not. And it was funny part actually, some part in the Buddhist text, because in Indian tradition, they believe that if you can meditate up to the unconscious part, you are very advanced. But in Buddhism, they don't want you to go there. They think you're wasting your time because unconscious for such a long time. And you're not a Zen even, you know, just because you have a so powerful meditation power that you live in a space or when you know the sphere for how many years? Look at it.
500 years.
500 eons. And the Buddha thing is wasting time. Yeah. So on the contrary, when you teach meditation, they always warn you not to go there. Okay. So that's different from an Indian perspective also.
So the bracket for fourth jhana, that means you have to have fourth jhana to go to these pure abodes, but just by having fourth jhana alone is not enough to go to the pure abodes.
No. You have to be a saint. And not only just saint, you have to be a third level saint. Even the first level or second level you couldn't go there too. Yeah.
Okay. And you have to have fourth jhana in order to be a saint?
No. When I say fourth jhana here, it's believed that when you are become the saint in the second level and third level, this is Abhidhamma belief. The moment when you become a saint, you must have that kind of power like the jhana, like a fourth jhana, in order to become that level saint. When you want to become a first level saint, you don't need the fourth jhana. You just need the power like a first jhana. But you know, when you have a power, doesn't mean you have the jhana. That's two different things, right? No. Okay. It's very simple to explain, like playing the ping pong. In order to beat you, I have to use my all force power, and I beat you. Then I win, right? But that doesn't mean I can do that all the time. That means I don't have jhana. But that moment I beat you is because somehow I don't know why. I was really, that moment. So that's why you become a saint. According to Abhidhamma system, how can you become the first saint? That moment you must have the first jhana power. But that doesn't mean before you practice first jhana was very strong already. It had nothing to do with that. Okay.
So first saint only requires first jhana power?
No, you can have higher than, of course, right. But minimal. But
power or more like quality of the first jhana.
Yeah. But when we say that you don't have first jhana, you're almost 80% or 90%. You always can be in the jhana, right? You don't need to be that. Okay, that's the more deep theory now.
I thought there was theory that you can reach up.
No, not Abhidhamma. I'm talking about, no. It's very clear to mention in Abhidhamma Sangha also. So when you have that, you have this access concentration like a Jinxin. And then the moment when you become what, you are in the first jhana. Said that very clearly in Abhidhamma Sangha as well.
So there's nothing like a Hui Jie Tuo.
That's why I say a lot of no Mahana. That's Yin Sun. I think he have kind of wrong misinterpret many things. Okay. That's why when Bhikkhu Bodha also did write an article about that sutta, what does it mean? Complete two different pictures. No. Yeah. We are talking about like at least in Abhidhamma, no, definitely not. Because you have the Jinxin Din, the moment when you are able to cut that off is because the knife is really sharp enough. That means you have the first jhana already. Yes, you might not have a jhana, but that moment you could. Yeah.
So meditation is central to Buddhism, and in meditation you're told, don't waste your time in the unconscious state of meditation. Where is it that you should spend your time in meditation? Is it nothingness? Because you also often strive for that in Zen. They talk about nothingness. Or is it on this table or something else?
No, I want to say is that, let's say, certainly traditionally or in a Buddhist text, always encourage you must have the fourth jhana. When you read the term the fourth jhana, and the fourth jhana it's a kind of mental state, right? The mental state that your breath is complete, like you don't feel the breath at all. And anyway, you're kind of like on a different space. And anyway, then what happened in the first jhana, second jhana, and third jhana, those things is just not there. But you feel really completely different. Anyway, that's a fourth jhana. But here we are referring to, since we are talking about, we were discuss about, right, that your consciousness is also directly linked to the different kind of the cosmos, right? So even in the fourth jhana, some people, they experience that when they're in the fourth jhana, somehow they found the way, I would say, the method or the way, they are in a certain state called, we call it asanya. So unconscious, kind of unconscious. Because when you stay in that unconscious, you could sit there for 1 day and 2 days and 3 days and 4 days without conscious. Well, it's believed that sometimes the Indian sadhu, they did that. It's believed. I don't know how is it true or not. I don't know. I never practiced. I don't know. But it's believed that they can, like, when they come to that stage, you could even bury them for a certain time, and they're still alive because they could stay in it without breath at all, like complete unconscious, and to regard this as a really very powerful stage, and that actually recorded in the Buddhist text as well. In those days, that they were arguing that is a bad state, and the Buddha will refute, saying that was not. Anyway, I want to say that the fourth jhana is not unconscious state, but in the fourth jhana there, it's very tricky. There's some place that you could go there, or you could go some other place, or you could just stay in the fourth jhana. Don't go to unconsciousness state. Okay, jhana is just a kind of mental state, right? But even the mental state, as I say, like certain tradition maybe think you should go there, and that is really powerful. Mean you are super, like a Superman. Okay, but not in Buddhist understanding. And then even when you have the jhana in the four jhana, and then they also actually is very clearly mentioned in the Buddhist text too. Then how you can go beyond that, go to what we call the formless attainment, and then you have the name called infinite space, infinite consciousness, nothingness, neither conscious nor unconscious. Those things actually are highly encouraged by the Buddha during the Buddha's time. However, in the modern time, or even not necessarily modern time, like a few hundred years time, some monk, I'm talking about like the meditative monk also, discourage you to do this meditation. That's what they call pure insight meditation. They think this is wasting time. But we are not talking about them now. We are talking how the Buddhist text said. Okay, the Buddhist text, actually the Buddha believed that is really something that you need to do. However, there's a difference. You have this kind of the mental state that actually kind of like, even when the person passed away, he could stay with that mental state to be reborn in what the consciousness connect to the cosmos, right? So it's a kind of like you could decide where you want to be born. If let's say you have a fourth jhana, you could decide to be born in the Greek reward place called Vipala, okay, in the fourth jhana we just mentioned, right? Not the unconscious being, as I just mentioned. This is when you study more detail in Buddhism. But of course, because you have four jhana, you can decide not to be born in the fourth jhana. You can decide, oh no, I don't want, I just want to be born in the heavens called the Brahma retinue, in the first jhana. Because when you are in a higher jhana, you always can choose a lower state, okay? Say that you are in the fourth jhana, you have that fourth jhana power, you say, I want to born in earth, I want to come back here, then you can be born in the earth. Yeah. But you cannot born higher than, like, if you just have the fourth jhana, you cannot be born in the formless attainment. You cannot go there. This is one thing. The second, we are talking about experience right now. The experience right now, you have a fourth jhana, for example. So in the Buddhism later on, I had to teach you. So as a monk, especially, not lay people. Actually, during the Buddha's time, lay people is okay. Because why you're lay? Because you have a different idea about the life, right? I mean, during the Buddha's time, I'm talking. You know what I'm saying? Then when you're a monk, why you want to you spend your time to become a monk? Well, I mean, actually, ideally, scholarly, it's because you want to attain nibbana. So this is not nibbana, okay? Okay. Still is existent, even though you can live long life, but to the Buddha, so ultimately, if you want to reach nibbana, that's why we mentioned nibbana earlier, then that's why somehow the Buddha will suggest you don't stay there for too long. I mean, you don't only just like this kind of state. You need to learn how to see the suffering side and blah, 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 you know, what we call the suffering, the cause of suffering and the season of suffering, and then the path leading to the season of suffering, like that, so that you become the saint. That is a reason. That's why the main difference between the lay and the monk in those days. And now, of course, it's different now. Okay, and it doesn't. I don't want to say too much now. So, yes.
So if the pure
is it clear? Yes, please.
If the pure abode is for the non-returners, why are there 5 different realms for them? Like,
I think it's that much to do with the lifespan.
Like, or like, if your consciousness is connected to, like, I guess, are there different types of non-returners? Like, why would there be 5?
Actually, that's a very complicated question. Yes.
Okay.
That I don't want to mention. This is too complicated. Even the jhana is complicated for you enough already. Then that's become a sainthood. No, I think Buddhism is really clear many things, but for some people find it too confusing. Yeah, I won't say confusing. It's really clear. Everything is not joking for the Buddha. So it's very clear how they become a saint and what kind of saint, and that kind of saint, why they're different from other kind of saints. Anyway, it's not because I say you're the saint. It's because anyway you are that kind of saint, and you it's all right. Another story. Let me just finish that and then ask a question. And then I want to mention is here they put a little bit like destruction by fire, destruction by water, destruction by wind, because it's believed that, you know, anyway within a galaxy especially, definitely if you are born in those places, if you are unlucky that you are on the last stage of that, the lifespan of that galaxy, then let's say you were born in the first jhana heavens, and it could be destroyed by the fire. And when the fire destroys whole the universe of this part, and then you will come to the water and destroy the second jhanas, heavenly in the second jhana, and then destroy by the wind for the third jhana. Okay.
Can you explain that again? So you're saying that these various jhanas could be destroyed by these various elements?
The world, because you know the Buddhism believe that even earth, you know, actually it's very clear mentioned in the Buddhist text. There was similar earth life was there, but then destructed, you know, like disappear, gone, and then another galaxy appeared, the very similar kind of life, and then blah blah blah, lots of description about how it comes and blah blah blah. And then now then we have the earth here. That's just only the earth. But then you have the galaxy. So that's why the word Chakravada and then the Loka is different. Chakravada generally refer to a galaxy. So when there's one galaxy and the galaxy, the Earth, since we're living in the Earth, so we have to start to talk from the Earth. It's believed that in the commentary, say it very clearly, then you will start to see the sun. From 1 sun to 2 sun to 3 sun to 7 sun. So, and then when there's 7 sun, that time definitely you have no water to drink already. And some of the beings move to other planets. They said that also. They say, why? Where did they go? Some they go, but some they don't. They stay. Maybe they're poor people, I don't know. They got no place to go. But they have to be really have to face in that the scorching sun, no water, and at the end they have to die. And then not about their dying, that they didn't mention, but definitely the earth will break. That's mean by fire. And the breaking will be burning all these heavens, called the 6 realm heavens, on the sense sphere, up to the first jhana.
Oh, so it's all the way from hell beings to, what is that, Grey Brahma, could be destroyed by fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the hell. I didn't see it mentioned about the hell. It only mentioned about the earth and the divine beings. Yeah.
I thought it's from bottom top.
I don't remember Buddha mentioned the word hell.
For the chart.
Really?
No, it's from
Maybe.
hell.
To show what's
But it could be then. This chart, but this chart is very different, I'm not sure. But I cannot say that, but I remember, I was talking about the description. When I look at it, like in the Visuddhimagga, the part of purification have a very big description about that. And the 这个叫什么？俱舍论 Yogacara, Abhidhamma Kosa. But I might be wrong, but that's my memory. But I couldn't tell you exactly now. But I remember he did mention about health. So since he did mention, I don't know. I couldn't tell you that because I'm no Buddha. I cannot force this such a big thing. But I want to say it means that, and then it said that after the destruction up to that point, it will expand the fire, right? Burning, expand. And then they will come to the water. Actually, is a kind of like enveloping, like they will water. Water it's kind of can drown people, right? Like that. That the fire will stop, but then it become a kind of drowning. The thing will be drowned, and that's what the water means. And then after that, the drowning effect will turn to the wind effect because all these things, what they will burn, become like pieces. And then the drowning will expand. So then they will just piercing. That's what it means, the wind. Then all pieces will just piercing to the third jhana, heaven. And then the whole planet there will completely destroy. Only the safe place is a 4 jhana and above. So, and they are definitely, one day they will bow to face that. Well, I mean, definitely in Buddhist teaching, they say this mean, those things in old day, definitely for the monk, those they want to live in, that's a beautiful, nice place. And the Buddha, that's one of the way that explain that. Then the Buddha say this, of course his belief is really true one day, it comes that way. But the other thing definitely is to warn you, do not think that that is eternal place for you. So, and you need to work hard to attain nirvana. Nirvana is the only safest place. Yeah.
So
yeah. Yes. Yeah.
A senior moment, so I better speak when I remember. So this.
It means he's old. She's old enough. Yes.
I respect my elders.
Yeah. Good. Yes, please. Yeah.
So can we say this situation just like a phoenix in fire, and then reborn? Can we?
No. We all reborn. When we die there, we reborn at the place. We are talking about the sphere, the place. It's not the eternal place.
Not internal.
Eternal.
Forever.
Forever.
It sounds a lot like a star's death. Like initially expands a lot.
I somehow believe that, but then at the same time, the problem is that we believe the star the way that we always believe like a planet to planet. Maybe the other planet close to us is easier to explain. But actually, I don't believe, even now, I don't believe that in the future, even if we can travel, we can look at the time and the distance as what we are now.
You don't think we can travel very far?
No, I think we can travel very far. I mean, the concept of travel is not like now what we are thinking as the distance and the time.
Quantum entanglement.
Now, a lot of theory. I'm not very good at that, so I'm not going to discuss that yet. But I just want to say, and I do not believe that, If one day, I quite believe that definitely one day we could do that, that we can travel some other galaxy, or not galaxy, some other places, or other planet. What definitely is not what we're thinking now, the method, like you have to, count the distance, how long, and then how fast you could. No, it should be something that, But definitely in the Buddhist text, a lot of mystical things also. The Buddha actually, he could disappear and born there already. He has the teleport. Yeah. And his students, some of his students, he can go to see the God and say, asking a question and come back. Have the teleport also. So, yeah. Yeah.
So he mentioned in the text that because the universe or whatever has been there forever, we've all been in most of these different realms. Does that mean that we all used to practice meditation to get to the certain realms?
Yes.
Yes.
In order to get those drums, you definitely must have a meditation, but not on the female or male form. The below, the word of the sense. The word of the sense, either you practice meditation, either you don't. The word of the five senses. That's where they have sexual and female, male formed. They could be born there because they're just good person. And depending how good they were and which one they were born, and they could. But of course, with the meditation, they could be born there too. But if they want to born in not the only no female male form body, what we call the word of the pure form, they must have. I don't mean meditation mean now what we think, but that means they must have the jhana. They must have that kind of ability with the jhana. So
the only way to be born to those spheres is if we meditated, which since we've been here forever, we must have at some point in the past. Then I guess my question is, sometimes some people progress faster in meditation, some people progress slower, and I've heard people say it's because everyone has different karma and stuff, things you accumulated in the past lives. But if everyone has been there, what's contributing to someone being faster, someone being slower?
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's also somehow believed that you being fast and slower, especially, I mean, it's believed that during the Buddha's time, the Buddha can see the past life, the person, and he know that why he become faster and why slower. Like you say, because in the past, if they practice for a long time, they are much more skillful than people who are not. But there's no such a, because Buddhism is not determinism. But it doesn't mean that because in the past he was practicing and he was supposedly he always must be better than the other. It's just a general, how to say, just a correlation that yes, generally yes, However, but still the Buddha always emphasizes, even though the Buddha practiced in the past, maybe past have a good meditation, but this time if they be misled, do not have the right view to do it, then the past life kind of doesn't work that well,
So it's the farther back, the more distant the actions, your karma, the less effect it has on your present
Yes
day.
and no, because in general, yes, because the closer one will affect you more. For example, what happened yesterday will affect you now more than what happened in your childhood. But then I say yes and no. But if in your childhood, for example, something that happened to you is something on that moment is really crucial for you, and it affects you maybe stronger than even what happened yesterday. So I would say yes and no. And actually that Buddha also say that because it's really much to do with your intake, the thing, right? When something that makes you feel fear, for example, that you did not release at that moment, you thought, oh, it passed. But unfortunately, it might affect you even up to now. So, right? Yeah. Because that time when your mind was weak, and when your mind was strong, it's different. You may be facing the same thing, but when your mind was strong, when your mind was weak, it's different. So, yes and no. Yeah.
So, I guess, one last question. Since we've been around for eternity, when it's eternity, anything and everything that could have happened would have had happened. In the idea of infinity, it's kind of if you've been around for infinity amount of time, anything and everything would have happened. We've all been around for eternity. Anything, everything happened to all of us. What makes us have different karmas then? If in the idea of infinity, anything and everything that's already happened to every single person. So we all accumulate the same type
your karma, that's why the karma always been defined as the intention. When you are not reading certain things, something happened to you and then you have a wrong intention with that and then they carry with you. For example now, maybe all of you now in this moment, I will give you all the poison drink. We all drank a poison thing and some, because of physical body reason, they die. Some didn't die, right? Because the physical reason is still okay. But maybe sometimes you thought, why that person didn't die? He was the weakest one, but it might be true, but you never know, because the last moment he adds something which actually is the antidote to the drug, to the poison too. So that's also karma, because the past, he was just before he came here, he takes something. You know, that by accident, that something is really can cure that poison, right? We presume that person will die soon because he's the weakest, but it's not, he didn't die. So now, okay, that's one thing about the past, but what about the future? The future is everyone take the poison, okay, let's say presume everybody survive, but everybody have different impact. Everybody have different react with that. Some say, oh, that was wonderful, now I know how to die. Die is like that. Some will hate you the most. They want to kill you because why you put the poison to me? And some will learn, actually poison to people is some nice, so I want to poison to other people too. Do you think that one incident happened, the reaction will be the same? No. But the Buddhism do not believe that come from randomly. We definitely don't come from randomly, because if we come here to drink the same poison, it's because somehow because you want to attend a class. It's not random, right? I'm joking. You know what I mean? I just given it a really strong case, but it's because due to your different your karma. I mean, not just that one incident. It's the whole thing that in the past that makes you a person. How you decide after when you get poisoned, right? And some people fear no more drinking, and he might be just going to be starved to death because, and some. So what, you know? So
can I think of it
okay.
as like we've maybe all accumulated more or less the same like actions or karmas in the past, but the sequence at which things happened is different for each individual person.
Because yeah,
so like, which determines like what happens next to you is also different, but like we've all accumulated more or less the same.
So that's one reason why to Buddha. It's believed that before he attained Buddhahood, he has the power to see his past life, not one life, two life, three life. He could see his past life. I mean, normal people see three lives enough. My life lies, oh, so that's enough. But presumably, that's at least the text say he could see his past life for billion his past life. That's why he was tired of the life anymore. He think, why people still wanted to be reborn? Because our human nature, I mean, as a being nature, not a human, as a satta, meaning Pali would mean the being nature is they want to survive. And that kind of mind, it makes us to be reborn and reborn and reborn. And also some people say, no, I don't want to be survive, I want to kill myself. That is still because they want to survive. That make them in the hatred way that they don't want to survive. But still is wanted to survive in a better form because they don't like this form. So, and they thought I can be gone, and that's also wrong. That's why the Buddha say that when people have the craving for survive, the craving for survive and craving not to be survived, both are also make them to be reborn and reborn. Okay? Get it now? Yeah. And this in the whole pictures, I mean, it maybe it's to a Western culture is very strange, but anyway, to the whole pictures the Buddha see. That's why when he understand that part, he say, look. He was born in so many places, being in this heaven, there, and hell, and all, and he died. So that's the life. And at the end, it's said that after when he see this, not only him, then he was, maybe he it could be just me, or how about other? And he also able to see the whole universe, how the universe form, how the universe disappear, and universe form. And he mentioned clearly when there's a water, and then now no water, when there's a mountain and become flat, and then again a mountain. That means the earth, the geographical way changing all the time. And he could see, and even people also same thing, born and die, born. Then after when he see this thing, the third thing, he saw that's because of craving, and he attained enlightenment. I think for logical is very easy to understand. If I have the ability to see my billion life, and I can see all of your billion life, and I can see this earth, how they form and how they gone, and another earth forming and all gone, other universe, how they come and go, what I feel. Why I want to reborn again? What it is for, all right? I mean, of course, this saying is easier. Still, we have a lot of attachment because we haven't seen it. But at least, I guess, I like Buddhism in a way. It's very practical. At least, I don't know, of course, I believe this is true, but I mean, I don't know, but that logically it's very clear That's why the Buddha, he say, okay, ultimately, that's the craving is the last one. And that's a very subtle one.
And,
yeah.
And like, what's the point of like why do we have to like keep dying and reborn? Like, you know, like why don't
I'm sure if I want to kick you to the water, you want to, that's
like I think like like I understand nothing is eternal, but like is there like in Buddhist cosmology anything that explains like what's the point of dying besides nothing can be eternal? Like,
no, it's
why?
not the point of dying. We have to die. Everything have to die. It's not that we want to die.
And like after we die, why we can't remember anything from the previous life? Like, is there a point to that? Like,
yeah, because you change the physical, you change everything. And the consciousness just remains, but the consciousness might carry your memory, but because your structure completely changed. And that's why the Buddhism never taught only just the consciousness exists. The thing exists had to be with the material and consciousness. And then the consciousness had to become fully aware. It's always when your physical, as I say, human as an example, that you must be developed very well with your faculties. That means the six senses, eye, ears, nose, and what. So if you lack of one, so I mean, maybe it sounds not fair to some people, but if you lack of one of the faculties, you definitely are, I mean, at least maybe later on you lost eyesight, for example, some people, for example. But I mean, when they were born, if they lost eyesight, they always cannot really, according to Buddhism, maybe not in a fair way to say, they have no chance to attend anything. The reason why, because they lack of faculty, and that faculty will actually kind of determine that consciousness already. Okay. The same thing as animal. Not the animal is not good, because their faculty is having a strong faculty of they cannot think free will strongly and be self-reflect so strong as a human. That's why they can be nicely live there, or they have a good karma to be, take care like more than a children, but they were not able to develop the wisdom part too.
Yeah, I would agree with that. My
Yeah.
cat has free will, but not wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, no, it's okay. Buddhism never taught this thing only because without material. So that's why we always mention, it's a big topic. I think actually we are going to come to next a little bit, yeah. So it's always have to talk about material and mental, have to go how they are interchanged, how they are interrelated to each other, yeah. Okay. Even though meditation is only consciousness, but if you don't have a good physical, there's no way to do that. Yeah. All right. Oh, thank you. Wow, time's up. I'm so happy. And the next classes we get by. I mean, this is actually is an interesting topic we've been. And the next one is come to the one of the very also interesting topic. Always interesting. The no self, which is especially Hindu hate it so much. Actually, the most debate, maybe even in the West, anyway, especially I'm talking about because don't forget the Buddhism came from, I mean, at least first start in the land of India. In India, actually, they always believe in the soul, but now we're talking something that against the idea. And of course, from a Buddhist perspective, believe that if you want to get enlightenment, this is a crucial point. Otherwise, you might be go to different heavens, that's fine, but you will never attain enlightenment. So that's the main topic about the no self. Okay. But what we just mentioned about the heavens, those are nothing to do with no self. You could have self, believe in that, and then to be born there. Okay. All right. So we come to another big topic again. All right. I look forward to see you guys, and thank you for your question and comment and everything. Makes the reading more interesting. Okay. Right. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, you do this 回向, the transfer marriage. I mean, it's like. Usually, traditionally, when you finish a thing and you need to dedicate what we have done, the good thing for other people. So, yeah.
อาคาสัตตาจะปุมาตาเทวานากามหิงกิกาปุญญันตังอนุโมทิภาจิรังรักขันตุศาสนังจิรังรักขันตุเตสนังจิรังรักขันตุมังปรังติ
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Well, generally actually means dedicate the teaching to the heavenly being and every beings here. May they be kind of like, what is that?
The protector of
Protector,
the teaching.
The teaching.
Protector of the instruction or the
And
teaching.
every individual.
And all the people.
Yeah. All right.